Hello, Prasad.
Hi,
Welcome to
Ashish.
welcome to the South Asian Heart Center. Thank you for talking to us about your journey over the last several years. As you have looked to improve your health, address the issue of heart disease and diabetes in the community, and for yourself. So, tell us a little bit about you, Prasad.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been in the US about 25 years now. Ashish, I came here like a lot of people to get a grad degree. I went to grad school, got my MBA, started working here, came to the Bay Area about 22 years or so back. And at this point, work at a company called VMware. It's in the enterprise software space.
Mhm.
I manage all of their physical security, business continuity, resiliency, crisis management, and activities like that. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit about me.
All right, and tell me a little bit about what made you come to the South Asian Heart Center and when.
Yeah, it was a chance thing. I don't exactly remember the point in time, but as we were just talking about before we started recording this, I've been participating in the South Asian Center Heart Program for 14 years, every year, very diligently. And I think from what I vaguely recall, it's been a while now. It was just a conversation over dinner with some friends. And somebody brought up South Asian Heart Center, kind of piqued my interest. So I looked you guys up. And I said, it's worth trying. My wife nudged me to also, she's like, you're not getting any younger. This was, so obviously, I was maybe in my 30s back then. So I just said, it doesn't hurt to try. And then I started, went to the kind of talk to one of the counselors. She told me what the program looked like. Made a lot of sense to me, seemed pretty commonsensical to me. It's like, yeah, makes sense. It's kind of something I can incorporate as part of my lifestyle. I've never been a believer in like doing these diets or like getting on these crash courses. That's not my personality. I like to make more lifestyle changes. So I think it's sort of matched with, my outlook and just who I am as a person. And so I started with you guys 14 years back, and it seems to have worked for me.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about kind of things that you found with the South Asian Heart Center about yourself in terms of your, clinical risk profile. And then what were some of the recommendations from the South Asian Heart Center that you started incorporating? What worked, what didn't work, lessons learned?
Absolutely. Yeah. So look, I mean, I guess I've been blessed with good genes, I should say. Both my parents, my dad is 83, my mom is 77. Blessed with good health for the most part, other than the occasional, health
Such
issue that
blessings.
happens at that age. So real blessing there. And I remember, I think one of the first things I saw at the South Asian Heart Center, this is when you guys were in the old location, there was a sign on the wall that really resonated with me. I think it said something like, your genes load the gun, but your lifestyle decides when to pull the trigger or something like that, right? So, I mean, that really kind of resonated with me. I think that's where I saw it at the South Asian Heart Center.
Oh
So
my
that
God,
sort
yeah.
of makes sense, right? So luckily, again, I haven't had any like family history of heart disease or severe heart disease or anything of that sort. But, it just kind of made sense as I was sort of getting into my 30s and then 40s to start paying more attention. And then we all in the valley here hear about stories, some horror stories about young people getting heart attack. I always knew, even growing up in India, that South Asians have a high prevalence of heart disease. So all of that information was sort of at the back of my mind. And I was sort of looking to get into a healthier lifestyle. So when I started at the South Asian Heart Center, with the South Asian Heart Center 14 years back, I believe I was 30 pounds heavier than I am now. And I was, I think, 4 inches more waist than I have now, right? And I've aged
Mhm.
obviously since, but those stats have improved. So I think the focus on kind of the comprehensive, diet, the exercise, focusing on the meditation, and then just being consistent. And what worked for me with the South Asian Heart Center is obviously kind of the lab and all of that. So based on data, but then also the right amount of like reminders, nagging without being annoying, which is a hard balance to strike. So that sort of worked for me, where I would have this yearly blood draw and then work with a counselor, and then people would keep calling me initially more. And then once they figured out I was sort of on it, then they sort of stepped back. So it just, that sort of approach worked for me. And it sort of resonated with me in terms of, yeah, I mean, the plate rule, 1/4 fiber, or half fiber, 1/4 protein, 1/4 carb. So all of those things just made sense to me. So I think it's just that focus on overall lifestyle and the ability to sort of, keep me on my toes, remind me, nudge me. That has sort of stuck with me. And then over time, like it's habit, right? You keep doing the same thing over and over again, it becomes a habit. and it becomes part of your lifestyle. So that's kind of how it's been for me.
That's an amazing story. I mean, what you were just saying, Prasad, is the dream of any coach. You know, if participants were kind of had that mindset, it would just be easy to kind of move along. And your change, 30 pounds of difference is huge. How do you feel about that change personally and in your health?
No, it's great, obviously, right? I mean, the numbers don't lie. I think more importantly, though, I think I said this earlier, right? So I've never subscribed to these, like, I call them fads of, diet, whatever the latest thing is, right? I mean, there's a value for that for people who need medical intervention. It absolutely makes sense. So this is kind of how I look at it. But luckily, again, I didn't have serious issues, so there was no need for me to get on a 3-month diet plan. So I think just over time, sort of incorporating some of those changes has been phenomenal. And so along the same lines, right? It's not just reducing the weight or reducing your waist, but maintaining it. So that maintenance part is really important to me. I mean, every other program that you kind of see in the media, they advertise lose 10 pounds in 10 weeks or whatever. Nobody talks about how to actually maintain that lost weight, right? So I think that is where the lifestyle changes come into play. And that is kind of what I've seen. So I've sort of gone from like 30 pounds heavier to maybe 10 pounds heavier, 5 years after I started with the South Asian Heart Center, then sort of, stayed there for a couple of years, another 5 pounds, and it's sort of been a progression and stabilized. So at this point, I kind of feel like I've lost a little too much weight, not because of you guys, but, I'm doing other things too. So it's been fantastic. I mean, it's like do it, but then also maintain it.
Yes, that's amazing. I'm so glad actually personally got a chance to kind of talk to you. I know that Leela had indicated that you'd be good to kind of chat with, and truly it's amazing. This is exactly what we have been kind of envisioning that we'll be able to work on with our participants.
Mm-hmm.
And if this message kind of gets out to everybody, it will really help them understand why they need somebody to kind of just help them move along.
Yeah.
I mean, there are folks who do this on their own too. That's that's absolutely the case. But we find that our biggest help with them is on the coaching front, and kind of just moving them along, just reminding them at the right pace, and without the pressure of an ad, right? I mean, that's the
Correct.
whole thing, right? So that's awesome, Prasad. I hope we continue to kind of work with you, and uh, through the years, and you stay healthy and well, and let us know. You can help us by letting as many folks as
Absolutely.
to kind of get on board as well.
Yeah, I think the word of mouth is huge. That's how I came to know, as I said, through a friend's friend, right? And obviously, everybody that my circle of friends knows about South Asian Heart Center. Some kind of take the next step and actually look up, what you guys do and then participate. Some others choose to do it some other way, but that's totally fine. Happy to spread the word. And yeah, it's on my calendar every July, August. Call the South Asian Heart Center. You guys call me usually, and then we start the process. So absolutely, look forward to many more years of partnership here.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for your time. I really appreciated it.
My pleasure.
Feel free to connect with me. You can just send me email at South Asian Heart SASC at elcaminohealth.org. And but you know how to connect with us. So just if you have any opportunities, and I'll stop the recording now so we can chat a little bit more
Okay.
offline.